All right, so sometimes what you want to do is you want to be able to get into this snow Foamcannon manifold and change out the screen that's in here, right? The filter screen or foam generator that's inside here. Now, the easiest way to do that is you see that there's a little pin that's on the nozzle right here. What we want to do is we want to basically remove that. So what I typically do is I find the side that has a little bit of a depression, right? So this one's a little bit more on the edge. This one's set in a little bit, and I use that as my removal point. And all you need to do is basically move the pin out, right? And I use a tool like this. Basically, it's a tiny Allen wrench, right? To be able to get into the hole that's here and push the pin out. Right? Once the pin is at a spot where I can pull the rest of it out with a plier, I do that. If I even need it. Actually, I didn't even need it. If it's a little snug, you might need a plier, but this is the pin right here. And that's all that is. And then what you do is you just gently pull on the nozzle, right? Sometimes this piece comes off with the plastic nozzle, sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, all you have to do is pull on this, and you're removing this end from the manifold, right? So this is two separate pieces, and the filter system is in here. Okay, so how do I remove that filter system that's in there? Well, you basically take another tool, right? Either a pointy tool like this or something similar, and you get in from this side, right? And you're pushing it out. And there you go, right? So the filter system, right? The two stainless steel pieces in the felt are out of this. And they just seat on the back side of this, nice and snug. So to replace it, you're basically just leveling this off. You're putting the first stainless steel piece in, right? And you're using your pinky to kind of like set it in place. You want to make sure that it's flat and it's seated all the way at the bottom, right? So that's perfect. Then you're putting your felt piece in next. Again, you're just using your pinky to kind of like set that in place. And then you're putting your third stainless steel filter in, and you're setting that in place. And that's it. It's as easy as that. Okay? So then all you do is you place that back into position. Clicks into place, right? There's an O-ring here so it's nice and snug. And then this might be a little bit on the difficult side. So what you want to do is you want to make sure the white part is on the outside, blue part's on the inside, and you're going to align this, right? So you might have to turn this around a little bit. Get it to a point where it takes. There you go. And then you're going to push it all the way in. And you're going to hear that click, okay? Because both of these have O-rings. That's what makes this snug. That's what allows you to kind of move this around, right, independently. And then the last point, the last thing to do is to actually put the pin back into position, tap it into place, and you're good to go. Done. Filter is replaced. If you ever have to replace the filter, that's how you do it. It's that simple. So we discussed the orifice size in here. We discussed the max min here. We discussed the nosing right here and the filter that's inside the foam generator. You can install that front piece, and maybe I'll do that next. You can install that front piece into the nozzle first and then place it onto the manifold, and that's what we'll do next, just to show you that there is another way of doing that. So if your filter is in here and you want to basically install it, you just basically use your finger and you're just going to twist it around until it seats. And you know it's seated because it won't go any further, right? And it's set into position. Now you could take this entire nozzle and you could just slide it back on and click it into place, right? And then the only thing you need to do then is install your pin, tap it into place, and you're good to go. And this manifold's ready to rock and roll.